Hey YouTube, this is Muhammad Sonic Boom, aka Muhammad Ahmed. Today, from Elevator Photography comes to making Yu-Gi-Oh deck profiles. Because with it, I got some new cards from Amazon.com online with my mom. And for that, we're gonna go to the mons. Let's go over to the main deck first. For the main deck, I actually run 3 copies of Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. This is the ace of a deck. Because if it battles an opponent, with the pendulum effect, you can reduce the battle damage you can take from an attack involving a pendulum monster you control to 0. But during your end phase, you can destroy it, and you can if you do, you can add a pendulum monster with 15 or less attack points from your deck to your hand. But you can only use each pendulum effect of Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon once a turn, is that? But on the field, if it battles, the damage you take is doubled. So when it battles an opponent's monster, the battle damage you take is doubled. It's perfect for any rank 7 XZs like any other level 7 monster, which I would use. So that's what I run. I also run 3 copies of Dragon Pit Magician. He's your back row blow up. Because once turn you have Magician card in your Pendulum Zone, you can target a spell or trap card in the field and you can destroy it. It can count for your rank 7 XZs you can get into. It's just any one like that. Also run 3 copies of Oath Dragon Magician. Because if you have Magician card in your other Pendulum Zone, you get face up Magician or Odd Eyes Pendulum Monster from your extract to your hand. Except for Oath Dragon, because it's perfect for using Dragon Pit's Pendulum ability. Using Dragon Pit's Pendulum ability for that. And due to this monster effect, when he's normal supposed to summon, you can target a Magician Pendulum Monster or Odd Eyes Monster in your graveyard. You can, except for Oath Dragon, you can add it back to your hand. Even if your opponent has domain, you can still tribute it to tribute summon him as well. Then you can easily special summon if your opponent has domain of monarchs, domain of a true monarchs in the field. Also, I run 1 Wisdom Eye. Because with Wisdom Eye, if you have a Magician or Performapal card in your Pendulum Zone, you can destroy it, and you can place 1 Magician in your Pendulum Zone, except for Wisdom Eye. Yeah, but due to his monster ability, you can discard it to the graveyard, and you can target a Pendulum monster. 1 card in Pendulum Zone's current Pendulum scale is different from its original, and it becomes its original scale to the end of the turn. You can still use it on Zhangsheng Magician just in case. Or Time Gazer. Or Stargazer and Time Gazer, whichever comes first. Also run 1 Dragon Pulse. Because with that, you can discard any card. Any Magician. If you have a Magician card in Pendulum Zone, you can discard it. You can target a monster. Face a monster on the field, you can destroy it. Even with another level 4, you can go into your rank 4 XZs like so. Like so or never. So that's what I like to run. I run 1 Jiang Magician. Because with Jiang Magician, you can target 1 face-up XZ monsters you control. Because they can use it as a level. You can use it as a XZ's. If you can use it as a XZ material for an XZ summon using its rank, if it were a level. But you could use it once a turn. You can target a light attribute monster on the field and negate its effects. Pretty useful on Galaxy Eyes, Noble Dragon, or Noble Knights, or any other monsters with light attributes like Judgment Dragon or so. Or Blue Eyes monsters, I think. So I like to run. Also, I run 1 Acrobatic Magician. Because with Acrobatic Magician, when a monster you control is destroyed by a card effect, you can supposed to summon it from your Pendulum Zone. Yeah. Or if an activation spell or trap is negated, I can use it to during battle. I can summon him in defense as well. But if it's destroyed by battle, you can place it in the Pendulum Zone. That's what I like to run. Also, I like Zhangsheng Magician. Because of that, you can target 1 face-up XZ monster you control and a level 5 higher monster you control. Then XZ monster's rank becomes equal to the level. But if you have equal to that level of a level 5 or higher monster until the end of this turn. But if you have more cards than your opponent's, its scale becomes 4. But your opponent takes no battle damage from attacks involving it. But once a turn, you can target another face-up monster you control. Its attack points become equal to that monster's current attack till the end of its turn. I think Jiang could come in handy at first. But that's all for the Magicians. Let's go over to the Performapals. I run 1 Skull Crabat. Because Skull Crabat's limited. And with that, Ways normal summon, you can add a Performapal monster, Magician Pendulum monster, or odd eyes from your deck to your hand. But you can't. But due to the pendulum effect, you can't pendulum some monsters except for Performapals, Magician Pendulum monsters, and odd eyes monsters. This effect can't be negated. It says the pendulum effect, yeah. So Skullcrad Joker should probably come in handy at first. Also, I want one Trump Girl. Because of that, you can even fusion summon using any monster you like. Any Dragon type fusion monster using you can fuse summon a fusion monster from extra using monsters you control as fusion materials, including that one. But fusion monsters are also my thing as well. But if it's pendulum monster destroyed, you can target Dragon type monster your graveyard. You can spell summon it, but you can destroy during the end phase. You can either bring back Starving Venom. Is what I have in the deck. Also, I want one King Bear. Because with King Bear, during the end phase, if it was activated this turn, you can destroy it, and you can add up a level 7 or higher monster to your hand that's either in my graveyard or face up in the extra deck. As well as I run Lizard Draw. Because with Lizard Draw, if you have a Performapal card in your other Pendulum Zone, you can destroy it and you can draw a card. Destroy it to draw a card. But with the monster effect, if another Performapal monster you control is destroyed by an attack or card effect, you can draw cards equal to the number of Performapal monsters you currently control. It's an easy way to replenish your hand for some sort if you have any Performapal or odd eyes on the field. Surely it's what I like, to run both King Bear and Lizard Draw. And as for the other one I like is Odd Eyes Light Phoenix. One copy of Odd Eyes Light Phoenix, and because with the Light Phoenix, when your monster declares a direct attack, well, you have a card at the Pendulum Zone, you can destroy it, and you can spell summon it. And during either player's turn, you can tribute it, then you can target Performapal monster you control and gain 1,000 attack points. As well as, I want Radish Horse just in case. Because with Radish Horse, you can, I can use it on Radish Horse, which I run, because of its pendulum effect. You can target one face-up monster, you could control one Performapal monster you control, and it loses attack points equal to the attack points of the Performapal monster you control. And with the monster effect, if your opponent controls a special summon monster, you control as least many monsters as you, you can spell summon it from your hand. And once a turn, you can target face-up monster in each player's field, and it loses the attack points equal to that card's attack points, and it gains the attack points equal to this card's attack points. Yeah, that's why I like Radish Horse. Also, I also run one Seal Eel, because it's so easy. You can set any pendulum scale. You can negate any monster effect till the end of the turn. You can target one face-up monster you control, and that face-up monster's effects negates at the end of the turn. And when it's normal summon, you can target a set spell trap card you control, and that set card can't be activated this turn, and neither of us can activate cards. Neither player can activate cards or effects a response. I like running one Seal Eel, since I have other cards in the deck that can, one other card in the deck that can negate anything. Oh, I forgot about the Magicians. I run Noble Dragon Magician because he's a tuner. Because unless you have a Magician card in the Pendulum Zone, you can destroy it. But it can't be used as single material except for the secret summon of the Dragon type, such as Odd Eyes Meteor Burst, Clear Wing, or any other Dragon type monster, which I have. Because if it's used as a single material, unless all of the other Odd Eyes materials or Odd Eyes monsters, you can put it in the bottom of the deck. But if it's Odd Eyes monster, you can put it in the extra deck, face up. But you can target level 7 or higher Odd Eyes monster you control. You can reduce this level by 3. You can special summon it if it's in your hand or graveyard. That's what I like to run. Also, I want one Time Breaker. Because of Time Breaker, if you say use skill, if a pendulum monster will be destroyed, it's not destroyed. Especially if I use Pendulum Call on it, you can make it on the not destroyed. Or Sky Iris, whichever comes first. But when it's the only one pendulum stone from the hand, its attack points can be doubled. But once a turn, you can target a monster on the field, and you can banish both it and in a field, but it must be returned in the next standby phase. I would only run this card wisely if I could, that is. Or so I think. That's my least. I also want one Trump Witch. Because of that, you can fusion summon using any monsters you control as fusion materials, especially with a dark attribute like Silver Claw, which I run. Because with that, all Performapals gain 300 attack. But when it declares attack, all Performapal monsters gain 300 attack until the end of the battle phase. That's what I like to run. One Trump Witch and Silver Claw. So I have others. And let's go to the other monsters, what I like. I like 2 copies of Tuning Magician. Because if you have two magician cards pendulum zone while it's in the hand or graveyard, you can spell summon it, but it's banished when it leaves the field. But you can only use this effect once turn. If I use that, well, those is the risk I'll take if it's normal special summon. Then my opponent gains 400, and I take 400 damage from that. Yeah. All of this I would run because I could get to your all of the synchro monsters are level 6, 7, or 8. That's all I like to run. Also on one Archfiend Eccentric. Because of that, you can target one other spell trap card on the field. You can destroy both it and its card also. But you can only use it once a turn. And due to Archfiend Eccentric, on the field, you can tribute it. And you can target a monster and destroy it also. All I like to run. And last but not least, Recover. With Recover, if it's in the graveyard, your opponent has 5 more cards in the extra deck than I do. You can pay 2,000 of my life points. And you can special summon it, but you got banished when it leaves the field. I used to go to my synchros, that's all. For the monsters. For spells. Let's go to the spells. Spells, I run 3 copies of the field spell Sky Iris. With Sky Iris, Magician, Performapal, and Odd Eyes cards in your pendulum zones cannot be targeted by your card effects. By opponent's card effects. Plus, you can target one other face-up card you control, destroy it. You can add one Odd Eyes card, such as Odd Eyes Fusion, which I don't have, or Odd Eyes Advent, or any Odd Eyes monster like either card which I don't have. Yeah, that's the field spell I gotta run in the deck. Also, I run 1 copy of Amazing Pendulum. Because you have no cards in Pendulum Zones, you can have 2 face-up Magician Pendulum monsters with different names to be extra to your hand. I'll probably use that for any dire situation if I want to or not. This card comes in handy. I want 1 Pendulum Call since he's limited. You can discard a card, add 2 Magician Pendulum monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. To the end of an opponent's next turn after it resolves, Magician cards and Pendulum Zones cannot be destroyed by card effects. But you can only activate 1 per turn. But remember this. You can't activate it if you activate a Magician Monster's Pendulum effect this turn. Also, on 1 Pot of Riches. It's like your avarice or so. You can shuffle 3 Pendulum Monsters from into the deck from your graveyard extra deck, or face up from your extra deck, and slash or face up from your extra deck. You can draw 2 cards. But you can't spell summon except by Pendulum Summon. Can't Synchro, Fusion, or Xyz. That's all. I want 1 Polymerization just in case. As well as 2 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. Unless I have Twin Twisters, I can make the deck look more well. That's all for the spells. Traps, I run 2 copies of Mirror Force, especially for this type of thing I like. I run 1 copy of Pendulum Reborn. You can bring back anything like Oath Dragon or any other pendulum monster which I like, especially with Call of Han. It's only go to the graveyard. Only supposed to summon in the graveyard, yeah. Also on Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare, just in case if you negate it, as well as some traps like Performapal Call, Dark Bribe, or Time Space Trap Hole. Because with Performapal Call, if your opponent's monster declared to attack, you can negate it. You can add 2 Performapals, which can help you. A types. And I use Dark Bribe to negate it. Dark Bribe can negate your trap card. Yeah. That's all for the main deck. Now we go to the extra deck. Extra deck. I run 1 Beast Eyes. Beast Eyes, it should be fused to summon, can't spell some other ways. I also run Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. Because with that, when you spell summon, you can target a face attack Magician monster you can return to the hand. And during either player's turn, you can, with a spell, trap, or monster effect activate, you can shuffle up any pendulum monster from your extra deck, negate, and destroy it. I would normally use that. I would normally use Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. With that, I run Rune Eyes. Rune Eyes is the best in the deck. Because when he's fused summon using a pendulum monster as fusion on the field as fusion material, it's unaffected by your card effects. You can apply the appropriate effect depending on it. Whether I use level 5, 6, or 7 Magician Pendulum monsters. Because it's level 4 or lower, you can make 2 attacks on monsters during the battle phase. And if it's a 5 or higher, it can make 3 attacks during each battle phase. But if it's fused, like I said, if it's fused summon using a pendulum summon monster on the field as fusion material, it's unaffected by your opponent's card effects. so it's useful. I'm on 1 Starving Venom, because it requires 2 Dark Archie monsters on the field except for tokens. So, like I use Trump Girl or Odd Eyes or using Polymerization to fuse 2 Dark Archie monsters on the field. But you can't use any tokens. That's all. Because if it's Fusion Summon, you can make it gain attack points equal to 1 special summoned monster you control until the end of the turn. You see, once a turn, you can target a level 5 higher monster you control, and you can steal the monster's name and replace it. You can probably steal Hot Red Dragon Archery Abyss. If Hot Red Dragon Archery Abyss was used, can be used once a turn. You steal that monster's effect, that you can and name also, and replace it with the original effects. But if it's destroyed, you can destroy the monster you control, especially if you use Trump Witch in the Pendulum Zone. That's why I like to run 1 Starving Venom. And let's go to the other monsters I like the most of. I like 1 Clearwing, because Clearwing, he's the only monster Jova use. Because when another 5 or higher monster activates the effect, you can negate it, even if you use it on Starving Venom, which you'll use it on, especially if it's said once a turn during either player's turn. When a monster is activated, it targets exactly level 5 higher monster, and if you know the card, you can negate and destroy it. And if its card effects destroy the monster, you gain the attack points equal to the destroy monster's original attack until the end of the turn. I like Clearwing so much, especially I run 1 Enlightenment Paladin, because when he's synchro summon, you can using a Magician Pendulum monster as material like Dragon Pit or any other. You can target 1 spell card in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and when you destroy the monster by battle, my opponent takes damage equal to the original monster's attack points. So Enlightenment Paladin should come in handy, just in case. The synchro monsters as well. I run 1 Minister Prominence just in case, because with Minister Prominence, you can target 1 Pendulum monster on the field or 1 card in the Pendulum Zone, destroy it, and you can shuffle a card to attack. But it said it doesn't target, yeah. So it works with Obelisk the Tormentor, or if your opponent has March of the Monarchs, you can easily use its effect once a turn to shuffle it back in. Since I don't have any Draco Slayer monsters in the deck, it'll be useful for that matter. If I don't have any Draco Slayers. I also run 1 of this powerful Nirvana High Paladin, because with that, for the synchro summon, you can treat a Pendulum Summon Pendulum monster as a tuner monster. So if it's synchro summon using a Pendulum Summon Pendulum monster tuner, you can target a card in your graveyard you can add to your hand. But when it destroys a monster by battle, you can cut in half your opponent's life points. But if it's a card in the monster zone is destroyed by a card effect, you can put it in your Pendulum Zone. Then there's your Pendulum effect. If a Pendulum monster you control attacks for that battle, it can't be destroyed by a battle. Also, you take no damage, but at the end of a damage step, if a Pendulum monster you control attacked, all your monsters your opponent control uses attack points equal to the attacking monster's attack points at the end of his turn. So try it with all monsters with low attack points. If you can survive with this card, who knows what's gonna happen. I want 1 Meteor Burst just in case, because with that, when you spell summon, you can bring back a card in Pendulum Zone, and with that, monsters in your possession, you can only use its plus it allies Meteor Burst Dragon can't attack. So you can only use each effect once a turn. So monsters in your opponent's possession cannot activate their effects during the battle phase, it says. Let's go to the Xyz monsters. I run Castell, and I also run Dark Rebellion. And I also run one copy of Big Eye just in case. Because with easy to go in your rank 7 Xyz, yeah. Yep. I run 2 copies of Odd Eye's Absolute Dragon. Because with Absolute Dragon, you can attach materials to negate the effect, and you can bring back any Odd Eyes monster from your graveyard, such as Pendulum Dragon, or Light Phoenix, or Meteor Burst Dragon, and Absolute, which I don't have, or Vortex Dragon. Yeah, that's what I do. But when it's destroyed, you can still summon an Odd Eyes monster from your extra deck. So that comes in handy like either Meteor Burst Dragon or Vortex or Rebellion Dragon, which I run. I run one copy of it because with that, if you Pendulum Summon a level 7, you can Pendulum Summon it from your extra deck. But if it's Xyz Summon using Xyz monster, Xyz material, you can destroy as many level 7 lower monsters you control as possible. But then your opponent takes 1,000 damage, and you can make 3 attacks during each battle phase. But if it's card in a monster zone destroyed by battle card effect, you can destroy as many cards in your Pendulum Zone as possible. And with that, you can place it in your Pendulum Zone. But with this Pendulum effect, once turn if you have no cards in your other Pendulum Zone, you can place a Pendulum monster from your deck to the Pendulum Zone. I like running Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon so much. It's the best card I would ever run. If only if I get the newest ones coming soon next year. Well, it's all for my Odd Eyes Magician Performapal deck. So good day and enjoy.